All right, here we go. Time to make something. Come on.
I'ma make something cool just because I can. Artist for life, that's what I am. Check my technique, that's how I roll. I make the world a little cooler than an hour ago. I'ma make something cool just because I'm free. Artist for life, that's what I be. Dig my style, keep checking my flow. Now your world's a little cooler than an hour ago. Give me paper, pens, musical instruments, a spray paint, and it gets intense. Give me markers, cardboard, microphones. It's not hard for me to get my mind in zone. People used to say that I was so distracted. People used to say I had an overactive imagination. It's so fascinating, creating it lead to procrastination. I fall into a piece of paper, calling out, I see you later. Then I rise like an elevator, or the mind of a meditator. My thoughts shine like a lightsaber. Inspiration's an invitation I can't refuse. It's the call I answer to. Plus it's fun if you're asking me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sketchy and Funny. I'm your host, Tommy Bell, and along with me today, as always, is my co-host, the official voice of Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance. It's Mr. Michael Larkin. Hello, buddy.
What's going on, dude? Another drawing in the pipeline for Mr. Tommy Bell, folks. We're going to analyze, dissect, and decipher another great one. I'm excited. I'm really excited. We are past the halfway mark of season 2 of Sketchy and Funny, so let's hop right into it, man.
We're going to hop right into it because I've got a lot going on, and it's really interesting because this drawing on this particular show is much farther along than some of the shows we've done in the past, Michael. So I'm going to be doing a few things different than any other episode that we've done before, just to shake things up a little bit, which is kind of cool. If you're going to do something different with each episode so they don't get stagnant and boring, you might as well do something a little bit different. And so I'll be showing some of the finer details of how I finish these things before people finally get to see that finished product. And before I jump over to the art table, Michael, I got to bring this up. It's so important for both of my viewers to know. I am absolutely honored to be in this book by my friend Hollywood. And it was on this very show when we were drawing the mummy, Michael, when she asked if she could put the mummy drawing in her book. And I said, yes. And a lot of time has passed, and books are a huge production to do. But this lady took time she took a part of her spotlight. This is all about her. And what a great read this book is, folks. I'm telling you right now. But she was kind enough to share some of her spotlight with me and do this beautiful one page of the mummy, and then let me author a few paragraphs inside this book. But gang, check this book out. Hooray for Hollywood by Jeannie and Basone. You guys don't miss out on this book. Not because it's got a drawing of mine in there, but because it's a fantastic read. And if you ever wanted to sit down for a couple of hours and have your favorite celebrity share all of their life story and everything that's happened, imagine what that would cost to sit down with a celebrity and just have every question you've ever had filled in. Well, this book does that. And I'm telling you right now, it's an incredible pick up this book. And it's a huge milestone for me because it's the first time a piece of artwork of mine has been put into a book. Thank you, Hollywood. It's amazing. I had to put that in there.
No, you're fine. I will add to your point. Folks, if you've not ordered your copy, do it. I will be ordering my copy this weekend to check out this fine book for Hooray for Hollywood and check out Tommy's drawing and the great story of Jeannie Basone and everything that comes within the Hollywood brand. So definitely, the links will be in the description for y'all to pick up. So for our drawing episode with Hollywood and for Hooray for Hollywood, the book in itself will be below in the show description.
Absolutely. She has no idea I was going to start off the show that way, but I absolutely had to. It's what a great thing and what a great book. So with that being said, everybody, and I'm having a little proud moment, and I've got other things that are book related that are coming out later that most people already know. I did a book cover. That actual physical book will be coming out really soon by author Mignon Dauphine. She's amazing. This book is already hitting big over in Europe. We're going to have a lot to talk about on that front. But right now, we got to get over to my new drawing, A Little Angel. We got to talk about this, Michael. So let's hop over to the drawing table and get right into it. And here we are, our glimpse of where I am. Like I said, Michael, pretty far along in this drawing for the drawing show. But this will give me a chance to kind of show a few other things that I've never done before. in a drawing show episode. And I'm really working in blues today. I mean, I'm blue, very, very dark blue to white all the way across. I don't know how else to put it. So without any further ado, and of course my little brush for brushing off any flakes and stuff that's on there, and we're off to the races. And you can see over here how I had started to outline some clouds, because what we're going to do today, the first new thing we're doing today, everybody makes the jokes about myself and the legendary painter Bob Ross. Today we're going to do some happy little clouds. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. Again, with colored pencils. You could practice this with even just regular pencils if you were so inclined. Because if you were artistically inclined and you wanted to figure out how to do clouds, this is the way I do it. Doesn't make it necessarily the right way, but it makes it, this is an easy way. So what I do is I'm using the idea at the top of the cloud to kind of, here we go. Just pull the camera back up here real quick. There we go. And I'm very, very lightly always using those circular strokes out, doing an outline. I did a real light pencil outline on here. It was super, super light. And I'm just kind of following that basic pattern. But you never want to go dark with this. This is just a super light scribble. And the reason for that is you want to maintain soft edges at the top of the cloud and in the blending process. This entire drawing has been, every inch of this paper has been blending. So it's rare that you really want a hard line. And then I'll take this area here and extend it up a little bit, but super light. Like I'm not, again, there's times where I color really, really hard and I'm trying to break through that paper. And there's other times where I barely even want to touch it. And I'm not sure how well, Michael, this is going to show up on camera because some of this is done so lightly, but you'll see here in a minute why. It's so that when I'm blending into the next color, it makes it super easy to do. So this is just getting it to fade out. And then I'll show you, because I'm just going to show you a few things here, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode, Michael. So what we need to do is talk about who's being featured in this drawing, because we've not. Michael, take it away.
So I will say this. Unfortunately, the artist at hand that was being featured is the one and only Trailer Park Barbie herself, Miss Katie Clackham. You've seen her on Redneck Brawl, competing in the Ring Girl competition and fighting against our last guest, Miss Tiffany Conspiracy Smoke Show Baxter, for Redneck Brawl. Katie, unfortunately, is under the weather, so she will not be with us tonight, but we still wanted to do a show featuring her and this overall photo and this overall drawing that we're going to see, and very much highlights the overall photos that we've seen of her on Redneck Brawl and really highlights and exemplifies and accentuates her personality, with that being a little angel. So for those who are not familiar with Katie, I will say this about Miss Katie Clackham. If you guys have not checked out her Redneck Brawl type of vibes like we mentioned there, she does showcase a lot of great work in promos that we saw her with Yeti, with Sasquatch, and especially against the Conspiracy Smoke Show Tiffany Baxter. So that really highlights a lot of the entertainment realm that we really get to see, much like we see with the LFC, to kind of tie it in with Lingerie Fighting Championships. It's a little bit of MMA, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing, but with Redneck Brawl, it's just badassery, cursing, and just going out there, going balls to the wall and kicking some dicks in the dirt, so to speak, if I put it in the bluntest of terms, Mr. Tommy Bell. So you have a lot of eccentric and just overall personalities that you find to be not only very unique and entertaining, but that's just all around fun. And that's really what these art forms, much like Tommy's drawing and the LFC and Redneck Brawl, is. It's a whole lot of fun. And you're going to be seeing a lot of clips from the Redneck Brawl promo wise and some of the action of both Miss Katie Clackham's
call out conspiracy shit show smoke show, whatever the fuck type of show she is.
Shout me out. Call me out. Your conspiracy smoke show.
It's Mississippi, also known as Trailer Park Barbie. I decided to fight alongside Ring Girling this time, okay? So I have this contest in the bag, and I look forward to beating you in the Ring Girl contest and in the ring. Cause baby, I ain't scared of you.
If you're brave enough to get in the ring with me, I'll be impressed. But yeah, call me out. But you can't whoop me.
But I grew up fighting, and I know how to hold my own.
Come on! Get you some! Bye-bye!
She's one of the ring girls that was here earlier. You know how scary it'd be to date somebody like her. You get drunk and fight and actually end up fighting. With her hair pinned up like that. Dude, she'd whip your ass. You can't judge a book by its cover. Look at that camel toe.
I swear to God, I was just looking at
My
that.
Lord, I love her more now. She told old boy today, she said, I can pick you up and throw you over my fucking head.
Well, that girl just turned her up. She done fell out her shoes.
Oh, she's scared to death. I would be too. Look at that. This is Club Comical. She's like, man, stop. I said, no, don't hurt me. Talking about, are you sure you want to be in here?
Hey.
Oh!
Man, that was fast.
I tell you what, though.
That was fast.
I loved every second of it.
Come on! Get you some! Bye-bye!
Trailer Park Barbie's back with that bush light, baby. And this time, I'm coming for Yeti. When I heard you wanted to fight, I had to jump on that shit. Because your boy, Sasquatch, did my boys, John and Jug, dirty at the last Brawls.
Sasquatch is the legend. He's the man.
And since I obviously can't fight Sasquatch, I'll just take my revenge out on you. And I'll beat a bitch down. So, we're gonna get this shit on, girl. Okay? You're about to feel the wrath of this beer belly right here. And this beer belly is gonna knock you fucking sideways, and you won't even know what fucking hit you, okay? I'm driving 8 hours to knock you the fuck out, bitch. Alright? So you better fucking be there May 4th in West Virginia, so I can beat your fucking ass for my boys, okay?
Come on! Get you some! Bye-bye!
Yeah, me and Sasquatch broke up, but guess what? We're back together again. Katie, this is for you. I'm coming for you now. It's personal, babe. Got that?
Well, we're gonna get this shit on, girl. Okay?
Right after we broke up, you know, you was in his DMs, acting like he was drunk. I had to leave for a little bit. I came back. I found out you was trying to come in my home with my man, Sasquatch. I get why you want him, but it ain't happening, bitch. That's mine. That's why Yeti's back home.
She wants Sasquatch's jerky.
Yeah, I'm always gonna have Sasquatch's jerky. You don't get that. And for everybody, she's with Jug.
I'm Jug.
Oh, he's in my DMs too. My man's got all the crowns. What's your man got? He got punked out by my man last time, and he's still crying. So come get you some. Both of y'all. I don't give a fuck. Bring it.
Come on! Get you some! Bye-bye!
Hey, Kansas. I saw your little video, and bless your heart. You're so mad about Sasquatch being in my DMs.
Right after we broke up, you know, you was in his DMs, acting like he was drunk. We're back together again.
When in reality, he was the one that messaged me the minute y'all broke up. So maybe you should keep that Sasquatch on a leash. And now you want to bring my man into this? Saying he has nothing?
And you're saying that I don't have nothing?
Sis, 3 crowns ain't nothing. Okay? And the only reason he lost last time is because Sasquatch laid on him the entire fight.
I'm coming for you now. It's personal, babe. Got that?
If you want to make this personal, it's very personal now. Can't wait to see you on May 4th, bitch. Okay, bye.
Come on! Get you some! Bye-bye!
Yeti is ready.
Boom! Hey, Chuck told her, go out there and punch her 120 times.
Wait, her titty.
Oh, her nipple's out.
No, she thought it was, but it wasn't.
No, it is.
I don't see it.
I see both of them.
they're out.
I don't see both of
They're
them.
out.
No
But that
offense.
first punch that she landed was a good one. I
No
know
offense,
that.
Jug,
It
but
was
we
out.
saw your girl's jugs.
I know. I don't want to piss him off at me because
She ain't even looking.
Hey, but fair's fair. I'll show you my wife's tits anytime.
$5.99.
Oh, easy.
I think it's $12.99.
Stand him up. Hold on.
Yeti said, bitch,
Hey,
you coming down here with me.
They started wrestling out there,
Yeah.
son.
Oh, she lifted the leg up, said, fuck you, bitch.
That's called a teat. She said, I'm going to kick
Oh,
you. She did.
She's kicking her.
She kicked her.
Fight of the night.
Yeah,
There she goes.
Come on, girls. Y'all just fight each other real quick.
Yeti's got to keep her head in it.
50
Fighting
seconds.
over
Just
each other's
punch each other.
boyfriends.
Come on now.
No holding.
Come on! Get you some!
So I will say this on the other side of things, Katie's really coming to her own with the MMA. She's really learning. She's really taking it in, fine-tuning it. So you can check her out with New Line cage fighting with Tanya Hopkins, a featherweight MMA bout on March 22nd from Parkersburg, West Virginia, and New Line cat fighting March 8th with Tracy Black Widow Herdman. It's a featherweight kickboxing bout. So you're going into different art forms, one in Kentucky, one in West Virginia, respectfully. But I think it's one of those particular scenarios where you're taking up a lot of learning within the fighting realm, but also at the same time, too, you're getting a lot of the experience at the same time. And I hope to see her kick ass and take names in both respective fights. So New Line Cage Fighting, check it out, Parkersburg, West Virginia, as well as Kentucky. The posters you'll see here, boom, right in this portion of the show, as well as where you can find Katie on all forms of social media. But yeah, I definitely wanted to highlight that because Katie's got a lot going on. You guys should really check out what Miss Katie Clackham, the trailer Park Barbie, if you will, with her badassery aside, much like she's featured in this badassery of a drawing.
Well, and the show and myself and you and we all wish her the best and a super speedy recovery. Really bummed that she couldn't be a part of the show, but I think it's also really important to take the heat off of any kind of situation by saying this show was not designed by me as an excuse or a reason to have whoever I was drawing as a special guest on the show. That's not a prerequisite, and it's not, and things come up. And I have chosen as an artist to draw for a community of some of the world's busiest women, and their schedules are insane. And so we've been really, really fortunate, Michael, in that we've had a long run of shows where we had someone that we were featuring in the drawing able to kind of, buddy, join up and sit with us while I do my thing and you do your thing, which is, it's amazing. It's really cool, but I never designed the show to be that way every time. And she would have been here if she was able to. We've talked. And so my heart goes out to her because I'm hoping that she recovers very, very quickly. And I hope that she enjoys this drawing and this show. And I know she is because we've talked.
Well, we do appreciate Katie.
So, and this is a really great, really, really great too. So it's doing this drawing and featuring her in it has really been a lot of fun. And she's been super supportive and really, really great to do this with. That's why I was like, you know what? She's sick. She's got some recovery. And I'd rather her recover than worry about doing a spot on Sketchy and Funny for sure. That's not the most important thing going. To me, the most important thing going, Michael, is getting a drawing that looks kick-ass and something that, something that people who are following me like, and something that she and her loved ones will really appreciate, and something a little different.
Absolutely. I think it's the honor here, and I'll echo Tommy's statements here a little bit, folks. We do hope she not only gets better, but we also, number two, hope she does enjoy this show. Because as I'm looking at this piece myself, when you're talking about a little angel, you've highlighted so many things of the details of the angel, the horror type of vibes and everything. You have so many different surroundings of pop culture and so many different surroundings of great imagery. And when you look at this photo right here, it shows the angelic detail, of course, what kind of represents heaven and the pearly gate, so to speak. You got a nice little harp ski over here. Like everything as well goes into what really an angel is. It's very empowering. It's very sweet. And it's just a very thing that we get to really see as far as the essence and the spirit, so to speak. So you're incorporating all those layers. And I got to say, her being the feature point of this one really does knock it out of the park of what we get to see from a lot of empowerment, and also really exemplifies the art and the body and the soul of what makes a great woman,
Well, it's really cool too, because when her and I were talking about this drawing, I listed about 6 or 7 different ideas that I had floating around in my head. And she selected this idea. And I immediately, this was a drawing that I really wanted to do, honestly, regardless of who was in it. It was just a theme that I thought was really, really cool. And when the right person came along, it would make a really neat drawing. And Katie jumped right on it. And I said, super, let's do it. And I really think it was a great choice for this particular piece, because it's something that I had this vision in my head for a while, and something you write it down, you're like, I really want to do that image sometime. And then it just came into being.
Wholeheartedly, dude.
And now here I am doing Happy Little Cloud after Happy Little Cloud. And I'll tell you, Michael, boy, I wish I could do them as fast as our man, Bob Ross. He used a different method. And for me, every inch of every cloud, I have to manually blend over and over and over instead of the way he used to do it. But kind of in a way, it's a little homage to him that I'm doing Happy Clouds on my drawing show today.
Well, shout out and God rest his soul to the late great Bob Ross. I mean, for me, as a youngin' growing up in the 90s into the 2000s, when you go to Channel 13 back home in New York, what would play each and every afternoon, The Joy of Painting on friggin', just the overall rewatches and the overall rewinds and everything that we saw and just everything that was really into that show and the re-airing, so to speak. And I mean, I love to see everything that we get to see that you've encompassed with your Bob Ross influence, minus the Jufro and minus the Fro, because, well, let's be honest, the Venga boys are coming for you, man, and we're going to get on that Venga bus, son, with that Six Flags. What?
Exactly.
So, with that being said, I mean, you do really encompass a lot with the clouds and everything, most important, pivotal part of the image of like heaven and image of everything angelic and heavenly, like we mentioned. But also at the same time, too, much like in the last podcast where we had Tiffany on, you're featuring 2 LFC prospects who have really come into their own, like we mentioned, the talking game, and as well as the learning and adapting to the fighting style type of things. You have 2 hard workers, and when you think of someone with a name like Trailer Park Barbie, it shows roughness, it shows toughness, and it shows brashness and boldness, but also at the same time, sex appeal at the end of the day. And I've said this to you many a times, real deal sex appeal, external beauty, internal beauty, it all wraps into one. But also at the same time, too, you're highlighting someone who did come off about with Tiffany Conspiracy Show, Smoke Show Baxter, and you're highlighting someone who just wants to keep going and going on and on to the break of dawn. And if you really think of something that is no longer heavenly, besides heavenly, the fact of the matter is this: you're constantly learning, you're constantly adapting, you're constantly growing, and you're really finding your par for the course within art forms with everything in life, and especially with this drawing. So for Katie, this is kind of like a nice little journey into what we get to see her being featured, but also at the same time too, it could really equate to life in itself, man.
Absolutely. And it's and this artistic little project is something that's brand new for her. We've never worked together, just like Tiffany and I had never worked together. But I do enjoy, especially starting off a year's portfolio with some new faces, meaning new people that have been supporting me in one way or another. And I just never, worked with them before. And then I try to kick it off with some new faces. I think that's kind of neat to do. And it certainly opens up my horizons too, to different people and their stuff that they're doing and into. And I support it all. I mean, I'm not going to just randomly draw somebody that I don't know at all or don't. I got to support what you're doing, or it's what's the point? But definitely, Tiffany was great. Katie's been great. And I'm really, really lucky to get to work with these people and to do some of these seeds drawings and things and showcase. Now, this is not a fighter spotlight, but again, when I first started drawing again in 2020, I wasn't doing a lot of fighter spotlights. I was doing fantasy art that featured female fighters in it. And it's always nice to go back to that kind of thematic idea and say, let's just show them in a little bit different way. It wasn't until I started drawing and doing a lot of drawings for the LFC that I started doing a lot of what I call fighter portraits and things. which I do enjoy. They've become a real mainstay for what I do now, which of course segues into Michael.
Yes.
Just recently, I couldn't help but notice the LFC has now branded me the LFC resident artist. Can you believe that?
If y'all check out lfcfights.com, you get to see LFC's resident artist over here. I mean, I look at it like this, dude. Everybody has their role, from the prospects to the fighters to all the personnel, including this son of a gun over here. I look at it from a stance too like this. Everybody, from me to you to everybody, we all have our roles. And I think like you mentioned, the introduction of new people in your drawings, like a Katie Clackham. Like, you look at Katie here, I mean, see someone who's relatively new. We mentioned the ringside girls and being a ring girl. We see a lot of beautiful ring girls that we've had with loyal fans from the LFC side of things. So everybody has a pivotal role, much like in any presentation, whether it be a show or any form of entertainment. But the spotlight and the presentation that you have here, this just gets to show, not only do you say, hey, man, bing, bang, boom, here's some LFC personnel, some prospects, whatever. But you get to see the people, and you get to see people in that image, that people have that gravitational pull towards from the eye. And I think how people get to view it, how people get to see it, it all depends on what type of lens they see it through. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And that's what makes this so cool. But it was another proud moment when I read that. Maybe the staff at the LFC doesn't realize that sometimes, but when I read stuff like that, I do have this very proud moment of, wow, that's awesome that they adopt me and look at me that way, and enough to put it out there on their posts and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. They've been always so good to me, which is a segue into, after this drawing, Michael, I have my 100th drawing coming up since I restarted drawing again in 2020. 100 drawings. This is my 99th. You think about it. But what a special, not that any of my other drawings have been any less special, but I've got something really, really amazing coming up for drawing number 100. And that's going to be another good one this year, I'll tell you.
Oh, dude, I mean, when you hit 100 drawings, which congratulations, by the way, my dear friend, but also at the same time, too, man, it hits another milestone. And I mean, with everything that you have coming up, and especially with everyone, as I can see, as we can all see, folks, the way he's drawing this, too, really dictates everything that we saw for Katie's photo, which we'll see the photo that Tommy drew off of for this one. Great photo that represents Redneck Brawl. But also at the same time, too, you have a woman like Katie, who also exude and accentuate with Only Wrestlers now, which is a hell of a sight, which, look at it like we see OnlyFans, folks. We have now Only Wrestlers. So you're featuring talents like Katie Forbes and Rob Van Dam and all the great wrestlers in it. To have people like Katie featured in that is absolutely amazing, just because of everything that we're going to see through that networking platform. But also at the same time, too, and going to Tommy talking about his drawings and everything, we say it every time at the show, folks. Tommy Bell is that boy with that skills that it kills. Replace the S and put in a Z. So it's one of those things, too, as well, man. It's just each and every day, it's growing like a Temptation song, to take it back to the 60s and 70s. But I look at it from a stance like this. When you have something like this, and you have a portrait like he's drawn, and you have content like this, it's on and on to the break of dawn. It's on like a pot of neck bones to the break of dawn. If I even want to put it into that realm and that form, Tommy Bell, it's combustion, man.
I was just waiting for the 90s references to come plowing through, because they usually do.
Hey, man, that's my decade. Leave it alone.
Oh, no, I can't. Believe me, it's my wife's decade, too. I can't get too far along I can't get into busting on that without getting my head cracked up.
Brother, we will put on some Backstreet Boys. We got Millennium coming. Millennium 2.0 from BSB, man. I want it that way till the cows go home, my friend.
Oh, boy, don't we all want it that way? Anyway.
I like your style, sir.
Okay, so, Michael, I'm going to rear this back to a drawing show for 2 seconds. Look at this. Happy Clouds happening as promised. Right there is another way, because I'm already into the white. I didn't really announce that I was switching from, everybody knows I work dark to light, and I showed you a whole bunch of blues. So guess what I was doing, gang? Dark to light. Dark to light. So everybody knows this now. It's my golden rule. So there we go. That's what I'm doing there, and that creates that whole layer so that I can get down into this layer then. And like I said, I'm almost done. So I'm probably going to pull away from the cloud for a minute and show you something else kind of neat. Okay, Michael, here's what we're doing now. If you notice, what I'm going to do is something that I always wait till the last minute to do. And this is something, I mean, there's a few things I'm going to show you. And the first thing is this toothpick and this little paint palette with some white paint on it. And what do? I make sparkles that way. And I'll show you real quick, because usually nobody ever gets to see this. But what I do is I take, because there's no paintbrush on the planet Earth that has a tip small enough, but I just dip a little bit of it. I don't know if you can even see that. There's just a little
bit. Yep.
Just a little bead of paint on there. And then when I need to highlight things, just like the little studs on the ends of the harp here, and what that does, it may not even be super noticeable, but when you do stuff like that, it adds depth and dimension and a little bit of reality to this whole fantasy thing that's going on. And some people may never be like, wow, he did that, but it subconsciously, I think, it gets noticed. And so it's this little extra detail works. And of course, with paint over top of all this wax, this is acrylic paint, folks. This is not oil paint. This is acrylic paint. And it allows you to take and make a little ball out of it almost. And when that dries, there's a little texture there. And it's almost as if that knob is, I mean, it's not like it's sticking out, but it still just adds a little bit of something to that, which is really kind of neat. And then, and I will show you this now, again, just a little tiny thing. You can start to decide where you might want to have reflect, like these little sparkles. And so what I do is I'll put one dot down and I make an X, and I take that out and I keep getting smaller and smaller as I take it out on one side. And you guys have seen me do a ton of sparkles on drawings, and I just want to show you what I'm doing to get that done. I'm going to take that one out a little bit longer. You don't want all of when you're making your X, you don't want all four sides to be equal length, because then it doesn't look like a sparkle. It starts to look, and you can even space out your dots too. So when you're going through, as they get smaller, you can increase the space that's between them, because that does help too. And these things, again, may never get noticed. Like, wow, what a great sparkle you did there. But it's so worth taking the extra time to put these things in, because it just adds something. Now, I created a little X here. Let me just show that. Where am I? There I am. There's my little X. Now I'm going to go across the horizon of that. I'm not going to go up, but I'm going to go across the horizon, and all this blending that I spent hours doing. That's your bravery test, as Bob Ross would say. And just bump in with a toothpick again, all those little areas, and don't overwork it. Don't make it more than what it needs to be. But then you get that great little sparkle right there. And that was another thing that I wanted to show you guys, how I could go on, because this drawing is going to have a lot of sparkles to it. But I wanted to do one last thing to show you, because these are like the final stages of this whole thing. And one of those last final stages is also a bravery test. It happens with this ink pen right here, the almighty ink pen, because we've got all this great coloring going on, but you need an ink line to define things, especially in a drawing like this. And so, and again, this is my style and this is the way I do things. And so when I'm looking for that definition between her hair and the background here, I'm going to take this pen. Now, again, it's a bravery test, because you've done all this hard work and you really don't want to screw this part up, which is, again, why I do it super slow. Take your time. You got one chance to get this right, people. When you're working on paper, you don't have a lot of chances to go back and go, wow, not at this stage. So you get into a level of concentration. It's a lot like meditation. and you get in, and I'm just going over every line where I know I need that visual definition. And so right now it's the top of the hairline, and you won't notice an awful lot, except that it does create this visible barrier. Go in here to the scalp area and just hit a few of these. And then coming back this way, and I'm going to go over to this side of her hair and hit a few more lines. And I'll pull this up closer to the camera here in a minute so you can see the difference between what's not been done and what has. And you'll see why there's a practical reason to do these dark lines. Because sometimes people have messaged me and said, why don't you leave those out next time and just leave it? The blending is so good. But in my head, there's not enough contrast. I like my stuff to really pop and to have a certain exciting visual look to it. So it creates an exaggerated pop, but it's well worth it. I'll have to do the same thing to the wings. I've got these white and yellow wings against a white and blue sky. So I'll outline those wings and the feathers on them in certain areas without losing the brilliance of the brightness. And it actually will help make that brightness pop. And so even by doing just a look, because you don't ever want to overuse the ink pen, and there's delicate balance between what's use and overuse, especially in a drawing like this where you want to maintain a lot of that softness. So, but then I will show again. I don't want to, because this is one of the last things that I do. Because by the time you're doing ink lines and stuff, you're really committed at that point in time, because ink doesn't erase, you know. So at that point in time, you're really committed to what you're doing, and saying, this is it. This is the final haul on that. And I'm gonna, and again, I don't do this as fast as other parts of the drawing, because you got one chance to put that line in and get that line right. So this is the time where I crank the music and just take, you know, a lot of time and make sure that these last steps, doing a little paint thing, a little paint trick and these kind of things, this is where it's all at. Like if you stumble now, it might just very well affect how the whole drawing turns out. But I thought it was also important to be able to do a show that showed some of these parts of these stages, because it's really a delicate thing to do. I'm going to hop in here real quick and do the eyes. And I do the upper lid and then very carefully put in some real nice lashes there. And then I'm going to come over here to this eye and do the upper lid and more lash work real quick. There we go. And now the lower eye on both sides. I got to put the pupil back in on both of those, because that kind of got colored around a little bit when I was doing the coloring. And then outline the iris, and the eyes are now in there. Now for the eyebrows, I'm only going to take a marker to the very bottom part of the eyebrow. Again, these things would never get noticed unless I took time to talk about them. But on an eyebrow, you never want to accent the top part of the eyebrow. So, and now since I know most of that you can't see very well, hold on. I will pull this up so you can see what I just did, where you can see the hair starting to pop now and the eyes starting to pop and the eyebrows. So that is, that's what's going on. And that's things like that, Michael, is what really help make a drawing happen. And that final result, when people hopefully are like, wow, that's really cool. That's what it's all about. So it's one hurdle after another, getting their likeness right, getting the coloring of the drawing right, and then you're still left with that stage of, I've got to ink everything, which means you're basically redrawing it again, but for the last time with an ink pen. And then if it needs sparkles with the little paint toothpick, so to speak, and things like that, like that's That's a whole nother stage. And then it gets sprayed with a clear coat. And once it's dry, it's finished. And so, Michael, without embellishing too much more, that is how some of that stuff is done. There's a few more lines going up that way. I knew this drawing show was going to be a little bit different because a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with right now can't be easily seen unless I had better cameras that could cut closer to things. But at the same time, it's showing you how I do wrap up and finish up a drawing so that you can see the differences between things like the area where her mouth and nose are versus her eyes are really popping now. You know, then it's thanks to that ink. Ooh, one more thing. I'll show you one more thing.
Okay.
Here we go. I get excited. So, toothpick, it's the toothpick, and it's the paint. Why? I'll show you why. Because in that photo of Katie, there are reflections in her eyes. And those are going to be right next to where the pupil is, right? So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to put a few dots in here, and then I'm going to pull it up and show you. This adds just a little extra life into the eye. And a lot of times, again, this will not be noticeable. People won't look for this, but it adds something. And here we go. Just two little dots like that give these amazing reflections now that really stand out there, Michael. There they are. So all those little details, like I said, when you're into the detail work, you got to expect that a lot of that stuff's never going to get noticed, but it's okay because it makes for a whole finished piece. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where we are with Trailer Park Barbie, Katie Clackham, and a little angel.
I love it, dude. I think when we get to see here in this drawing here, folks, precision, detail, and everything really highlights everything, not only off the photo that you're working on, but also it's one of Katie's earliest photos into her game, into the first combative goes, and really does start the beginning of the journey. And as we say each and every time with this show and in life, the journeys were taken. So everything's really par for the course and really highlights what you're doing in the drawing of and within the muse who you're working off of. So it really does fit, man. I think everything pops. And I got to say right now, I think Katie's going to really like it. And once more, we appreciate you, Katie, and we hope you do feel better. But I'm glad that we really get to highlight and spotlight Miss Clackham in tonight's drawing.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody. Well, hey, that is a wrap on this episode of Sketchy and Funny. And that's a little angel behind me right down there. Like I said, I'm real close to the finish mark, gang. So I'm going to go ahead and get that finished up, and we're going to put a wrap on that one, and we're going to put a wrap on this episode. It was really fun, Michael, doing this show and chatting like we always do. And gang, there's so much crazy cool stuff coming up. You don't want to miss any of it. I'm telling you, I don't want to miss any of it. So there's a lot going on, and I'm sure I had something else to say.
Well, I will help him out on what else to say here, man. I'll give him a little something here. Well, we're going to keep that in. So with that being said, I'll add to this point. So, shout out first and foremost, like we mentioned at the top of the show, to Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood. Check out the book. It's going to be sweet. Check out this man's drawing it. It's a great, great biography of the life of Jeannie Bisson, the OG glow girl herself, Miss Hollywood. Shout out to our girl Mimi, Mignon Dauphine, like you mentioned, man, with everything from the book cover and everything you got with her. The book's doing very well in Europe. I'm excited to see where those continued ventures go because Mimi is going to be a hell of a talent and a hell of a writer as she already is, and she's just going to continue to blossom. I can't wait to have her on the LFC pod. I can't wait to have her back on here, and I can't wait for the three of us to chat as we always do in general, my friend. So I will say this. I think normally this would be the point where we would have our guest, but unfortunately, Katie, we love you, and we hope that you feel better. But we will promote your socials for Trailer Park _Barbie on the Instagram, and everything, Katie, will be below in the description on my YouTube channel, as well as when this is released on Tommy's YouTube channel and Spotify. So I will actually go first and promote my socials, and then we'll give it to the hostess with the mostest over here. Yeah, that's right. You're talking about LFC's resident artist. I'm calling you the hostess with the mostest, Tommy Bell. So if you want to check out yours truly, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92 on Twitter, StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com, Larkin_92, MLarkinMB on Insta, and Mike Larkin92 on the YouTube front. For LFC, y'all, all you got to do is go to lfcfights.kizom, where you can check out the VIP section featuring LFC podcast, Beauty Straight the Dominance. You can check out Tommy Bell Art, Sketchy and Funny. You can check out Katie's work being highlighted on this show, highlighted on the LFC podcast. You can check out all the LFC events from LFC 40, Booty Camp 5, and LFC 41 Lingerie Fight Club, where we have a new LFC champion, the one and only Miss Bella Inc. Shout out to Bella. We love you. And you can check out more exposed calendar shoots and everything that is Lingerie Fighting Championships on lfcfights.com. Tommy Bell, promote your shiznit.
Hey, you guys, you know how this goes. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. And if you want to find me, just look up Crazy Little Bald-Headed Man and you will find me there. And no, don't look that up at all. It's going to be Tommy Bell Art. Like, that's how it goes, you know. So, but it's always awesome. These shows are always great. You know, it's the no script thing, Michael. I have a feeling this show's
keep doing it. Ready? Take.
Well, guys, everybody, both my viewers, I got this great clapboard. So now I feel like the show has a budget, but it also allows me then to have multiple bloopers. Or if I don't get something right, which is most of the time, I've got now this thing where I can just tell Michael as my editor that we need another, you know. We got to take it from the top. So thank God we don't have to do that with this show.
Well, you'll be seeing some bloopers at the end of this. So we hope we gave you some laughs.
I had nothing to do with any of the bloopers, by the way. It was mostly Michael.
No.
You know, so.
We hope you do enjoy the bloopers, and we hope you enjoy another edition of Tommy Bell Art, Sketchy and Funny. We appreciate you, Katie. We appreciate everyone that's been on this show and everybody from LFC, the Redneck Brawl, and outside the LFC auspices. Tommy, close us out. Take it away.
Everybody, thank you once again for watching, and stay tuned because there's a lot more coming on Tommy Bell Art and Tommy Bell Art, Sketchy and Funny. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Actually, you would want to be ya because we're the sharpest dressed men in LFC, and we got some badass women on this show.
Indeed.
Boom!
Pow!
Hey!
Where's the pow? There's the
pow.
Sketchy and Funny, Season 2, Episode 6. Just take.
A 3, a 2, and a 1. Go, Tommy Bell.
Hello.
We're making this a blooper. Jesus, man. Oh, bro. Oh, dude.
Yes.
That was funny.
I guess you got something for the end of the show, right?
Yes, we do. I was just like, hello. I felt like I was talking hello there. Thank you very much.
God. Yeah.
And a 1. Stop the laughter.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm ready. I'm really ready.
I am ready.
Okay, so let's just.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough.
Whatever you